What is up, everybody? Welcome to the NFT Pirates household. I am here with the one and only Mr. MC1 ETH in this beautiful room. The legend himself decided to join me today, and I figured, man, might as well pick your big brain and get everybody fired up. I mean, there's so much momentum. There's so many things happening. It's nice to see the sparks back in VEVE's, name. So good to see you, bro.
Hey, thank you very much, NFT Pirates. Thanks for having me here. It's an honor to be on your channel. Brother, I tell you, I started watching your channel when Silicon was on. That was, when you talk about a legend, I'm not a legend, man. Silicon's a legend, And I miss him tremendously, brother. But thank you for having me on today. Just wanted to, remember a very good friend of both of ours, on the channel.
Dude, I appreciate you saying that, man. Like, it actually, once he passed, it was hard for me to make content again because he was such a huge part of the channel's development. Yeah. And like you said, he was such a mentor for me. So, I think the cool part is he's living through all of us. He gets brought up so many times,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. So I wanted to share two things about Silicon, then we can, go to the next thing.
Amazing.
But Max, Homies, sent me a video clip a couple days back. And, it was from DCon in 2022. And he has a clip. He's walking, him and Janie are walking behind me and Silicon and filming. And I've got my arm around Silicon. He's got his arm around me and I'm, comforting him. And it was the time that he had told me what was going on. And what Homies didn't realize was they actually caught that moment on camera. And, it was just a very, very special moment. I haven't shared it publicly or any such thing, only with VEVE Magic, but someday I will. Obviously, very, very special moment. And then there's a poster that he wanted, there's I think only 20 prints of it, or, very small number of prints. And he wanted to gift those to some people. So I'm blessed to have gotten one. VEVE Magic sent me one. So yeah, man, just, Yeah, Silicon, man, that's the legend.
Yeah, man, he's the heart of VEVE, and I was lucky I got one of those posters as well. Yeah. I'll probably frame it actually right behind us here, soon enough. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that because the same thing happened with me. He told me, and it was really unexpected because he was so vibrant and so full of life that it's hard to imagine sometimes that somebody that's so powerful can be taken down, and I think it just goes to show you, as much as this is fun, there's so much more to life,
That's exactly right. I think that's where I really did want to start this whole thing off, as well as the relationship. A lot of us, we're buying toys at the end of the day. Yeah. We're buying toys. To some of us, we think these are investments, and some of us not. And no matter which way you roll with that, what's actually happening is we're building some very special bonds, some very special friendships. And these are very lasting, they're at least personally, I felt very, very connected into the community. And there's people, tough times can show you, who's there for you, who's the person that you can call, who's the person who's lifting you up, who's the person, you've done something stupid and you can talk about. And we all do stupid things, we all do very, very stupid things in life. And Yeah, man.
Bro, 100%. And that's where I think out of so many other projects, VEVE's community and Omi's
Yeah,
community is so strong.
yeah.
And on that same note, I was actually laughing because I wanted to show you something.
Sure.
Today I posted obviously our video,
Yeah.
and I have a guy that says he used to FUD. He's like, "Can you tell him that I'm now again a moon boy? That my fudder days are over. My revenge is finished. He can unban me." And I started thinking to myself, I wonder how many fudders are now like apologizing and wanting to come back into the fold after seeing all the momentum again. And it's just so cool to me because so many other projects failed and died, right? Really died off. And there was so much FUD, probably more than any around VEVE. But this community that was here was so strong and believed in this project so much that it was like almost unbreakable. And now we are thriving again. Like Omi's up 70-something% in a month, which is probably better than most big projects out there. And on top of that, collectibles are going up. Despite how many have been dropped in 2 years? I mean, so many collectibles have been dropped, and they're still going up in value. MCP's out. There's a lot of just really nice momentum, and so I just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on kind of the sentiment and just kind of the transition that I guess we're experiencing now.
It's not the answer you're going to expect. You'd expect anyway. A lot of people expect. But honestly, I have two thoughts to share there. First of all, for anyone that's fudded VEVE, there was a rightful reason to be annoyed with the project for delays, right? There was a rightful reason. You can say we can say we were all here, we didn't fud it, or we fudded it less, somebody else fudded more or whatever. But for what it's worth, there were a lot of challenges, man. There were a lot of challenges with VEVE for the last 3 years. David's the first guy to admit it. Dan will admit it. And so, let's not hold any grudges about anything with anybody, man. We're all here collecting toys. And, we fall in and out of love with our toys. And, as long as you didn't go too crazy, right? Like if you went to the point where you were just completely a nut job, calling people names and, by the way, that's forgivable too. We all call each other names.
Yeah.
But if you did it very, very maliciously and, you caused harm and you hold that grudge still there, that, other than that, I think, everything's forgiven. Everybody, it's all good, man. And then the second thing I have for you is, look, man, I think David and Dan should come right out and say, look, we're really sorry for the last 3 years, a lot of fuck ups and stuff. We've got our shit together. We've got a big team. We've plowed in the money. Hopefully all this money and hiring and all this stuff that we've done over the last 3 years also goes to prove to you that while we did disappoint you, we're here, to get shit done, and we've delivered X, Y, and Z. And there's a lot of delivery. There's every reason, to just sort of, if you push that topic, and we can stay on the topic if you want, but if you push that topic aside, we can talk a little bit about all the stuff that's fallen in place, and we can have an honest conversation about what's not yet in place, right? As well, and do both in a balanced manner. But those are my thoughts on it. I don't know if everybody agrees with it or not.
Dude, no, this is important, and I think that's why a lot of people also got kind of I don't know, we're a little more hesitant about the project, is because there's a lot of people that just only saw the rainbows. We're only like, oh, it's the best thing ever. Nothing's ever wrong. People are like, hey, there's some actual mistakes here. There's some actual missed deadlines. Yeah, and so we need to acknowledge that. And I think you just saying that right now is like, hey, yeah, there has been some mistakes. We're buying toys. Let's put it in perspective as to what we're doing here. But at the same time, seeing what they have been progressing on. And so now we're finally seeing some things like MCP, which I thought was going to roll out 2.5 years ago. I don't know if you remember the first article they dropped. They're like, "This is the point system." I was like, "Oh my god, okay, we're a few months away."
Still a photo, man. I'm just seeing the P so far, man. I'm not seeing the MCP, and they're promising it's coming. I know it's coming. I know they'll deliver the MCP the way we think it is. But for me, right now, it's still just a P, man. It's just a P.
Right. You just got the points.
I just got the points, man.
I know.
Ain't feeling love.
Exactly, right? And I think people like to look at their points and say like, look at all these things that I have, but what does it actually mean, right?
Yeah, but look,
Yeah.
we'll have a chat. I'm going to meet David and Dan and so the VEVE fam in Austin. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. This topic is absolutely up for discussion.
Yeah.
Like, this is not about giving the whales special privileges or something, but it's about, look, you really, when you call it master collector program, there has to be something in it for master collectors that's differentiated from people that are not master collectors.
Right.
Having 10,000 or 20,000 points for a drop where you have a 1 in 10 or 1 in 30 odds of winning, everybody has it now, man. Like, what's so special about that?
Yeah.
And for the guys who are collectors, they don't really care about that. Like, it barely tickles you. You know what I mean? So they've got to figure out a mechanism by which it appeals to people that collect. And this is not whales. This is people who collect. There are different styles of collecting. People who collect Disney, people who collect comics, Marvel, people that collect Tarzan, people that collect low mints, people that collect special mints, people that collect sequential mints, and people that have big collections and people and specialized collections. So, the MCP is something that should enable looking at different patterns on different drops and rewarding people with different styles of collecting on that drop. And reward ain't equal to, have a nice day, put 10,000 points and like you have a 1 in 30 chance of getting something. It's got to be something a little more special, right?
Right.
And maybe it's, using it in non-blind boxes or whatever. But, when you apply MCP in a manner in which it's recognizing and rewarding people that are collecting, really collecting, right? Now that's different, because what happens is, if you continue down this path, like, okay, you have points, you can use it to improve your chances on a drop. That's a whale game. You may not know it,
right.
But for someone who has a lot of points, they don't care. They'll keep buying you out on every drop, and they don't get any satisfaction in it, so they're not happy. Nobody else is happy. So it's kind of and it doesn't reward collecting. It incents a different behavior. What it appeals to people who play the lottery. They want to come in, they want to spend the 70 gems, they're hoping to get the 1 in 10 or 1 in 25 secret rare that they can make 1,000 gems with. If they don't, they're like, okay, let me just dump everything else in the market for like 30 gems, half price, or 1/3 the price. And the problem with that is, over time, right? And you could say it's a free market, do what you want to, don't like it, go get all that shit, right? But what happens over time is that the guys collectors who go for the drop and want to keep any rarity, right? They want to keep the rare, they want to keep the ultra rare, they want to keep the secret rare. So, when there's too many flippers in these and gamblers in this app, then the rares are all undervalued. So true, they're collectors, but nobody wants to see their collection worthless right after, right? Nobody wants that. So you find that problem. And then also, on the top end, what happens is if everything is going, every secret rare is going to a gambler, it's all in the market, right? So every single time there's people, the whales are basically paying out a lottery for someone, but they're all in the market. And you can say, well, that's a good thing, but it's not. You really want to create some level of collection and some passion around that. And I'm not saying giving out secret rares is the option, but I think being more thoughtful about identifying and rewarding different forms of collecting is something they have to aspire to. And you can say, here's the other thing. What I heard, it's only 2 weeks. Yeah, it's only 2 weeks, but you know what? You first start with whatever you do, you first do for your master collectors, then you kind of spread the bread and the butter on the bread, whichever way you want to. But look, anyway, that's just my take on it. You may agree, you may disagree. Everybody's listening. You may have different.
No, man.
Super respectful. super respectful of everybody, whatever you want.
Yeah, bro. Like, I think you make some incredible points there, and I think like this is what the Cray Mountain also echoes. He goes, we got to keep in mind that if Master Collector getting all the significant drops, then drops will flop because who will go for them, right? Like if you're just if the winners are gonna keep winning, it's not fun for the new people coming in. And the other thing I love that you said is when we look at like a collection, let's look at the Lamborghini that just dropped, right? Secret rare already 2K, you know what I'm trying to say, or whatever it's going for, and then the ultra rare is like almost like under retail. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And you're like, well, that's still a pretty cool thing. And if things were incentivized differently, where like maybe holding a whole set as an example was like you would airdrop something, then there would be more equilibrium in the market. So I think you're right in terms of it's looking at it from one angle right now,
But I think so there's a perspective that, oh my God, if you do MCP, it becomes unfair to everybody and people, it becomes flop, you're giving the whales everything. First of all, the MCP is not designed to take all the good stuff and give it to whales or to any such thing. It's not, right? The whole thought process is in every drop there's a small percentage that is for the Master Collector program. And if you come back and say, I want that Master Collector program to appeal to bring in new users, then you got the wrong thing in your head. Right. Like what you're trying to do is to create, take a small piece of the drop, whatever it is. It could be 40%, it could be 5%. And it could be every other drop. It could be some drops, not every drop, whatever you want, right? But if you take that, whatever compartment is for MCP, use it for MCP, not to attract new users, not to create equality, not to create whatever you want to do, because that's a different thing. And the beauty of it is, the more you create, that type of benefit, the more people want to go through the program to get there. Right. It incents, and it's not just about collecting a lot. It's also about collecting special things, unique things. Like if somebody has, like let's say Patrick Hughes, every Patrick Hughes stuff, or somebody's a huge, massive Mighty's collector and has like the previous Mighty's set, held it. The next Mighty set, give them some benefit. The guys who have bought it and kept the Mighty's, the last one. If somebody is a Bond fan and has some Bond stuff, and kept the last drop, doesn't have to be everything so far or whatever, not a whale. That style of incenting collecting, and I think David gets it, because Michael kind of really unloaded in a very smart manner on X, and I think David jumped in. So David gets it. I think it's all coming. I don't want. We don't need to keep chatting about MCP. There's a lot of other cool things coming out and have happened on VEVE. We should talk about all those as well. But anyway, this is sort of the thoughts on the MCP side.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good perspective. And I think the other piece to this is it's still preliminary, it's still rudimentary. So it's kind of getting up and going. But again, I think the cool part is that VEVE is always willing to listen to their community and see where those gaps are. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's really good. So what is else shaking in your side of the court? Tell me what your thoughts are right now.
Things, man. A lot of cool things. So very excited to be in the VEVEverse beta. The first round of 30. Obviously, that's now expanded. So I'm really, really happy to see it's expanded. I think those people get access to VEVEverse. We'll
let that one go. Yeah.
Later. But the VEVEverse, it's great to see that a couple hundred more people will go into VEVEverse in the next a couple of days, I think. Right. And I know that some of them have seen a demo of the people who built pads in there. You may have seen my pad with all the
crazy in it. I did see it. Yeah.
You saw it? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're part of that.
Yeah.
What did you think? So, I mean, I won't take it personally. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was like amazing. Like, I think put it this way, I think the sophistication and the functionality that you get already is like, tenfold better than what we currently have. I think it's just like, it takes a while to build from what I'm hearing from people and stuff. Like, it's not like you can just make these worlds overnight. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like a process, you know? So I'm hoping that that process gets shorter, where people can almost have like templates they can choose from, and then things like that, you know?
Yeah, and then you can also get, you know, there's also this ability to bring in somebody into your pad and give them access to build for you. So they're in your pad and they're building on your behalf, which is different from people who come in to visit. So I think that might get used quite a bit. And I hope they create the ability for people that build beautiful pads to sell it on in VeVeVerse, you know, to others. So you can have high quality builders who are benefiting from this economy, and there are people willing to pay for that. You know, like if somebody's built a beautiful bat, you know, Gotham City, or somebody's built, you know, Disney Castle. Those are all very hard to build, you know. And if there's builders who built it and they want to sell, you know, 10 of them or 20 of them or whatever it is to people in the community for 1 ETH or half an ETH or whatever else it is, yeah, they should be allowed to make that 20 ETH. You know what I mean?
Right. And then what a huge incentive. That's now a whole other part of the game now, other than collecting, right? It's showing, it's like, how do you showcase this properly? Yeah,
like
man.
I would pay 1 ETH for a, you know, a pad that is custom built, you know, not custom built, but, you know, built, but it's still rare. It's not like, you know, 100 people have it. If 10 people have that pad or something like that, or 20 people have that pad, I'm happy to pay an ETH to buy something. And then if it's something that I want built for myself, which is very custom, I write the requirements, somebody builds it for me, you know, for those kind of pads, I'll pay 5 ETH for sure. Like easy 5 ETH, you know, like the way ETH is today. Not when it hits
exactly. I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, maybe, but you know, let's just pause for a second here, because that's a huge deal. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that, you know, 5 ETH is a significant amount of money. So people on here that, you know, are collecting stamps and those things now have this opportunity, if they're really well versed and skilled at that. That's a whole other chapter for them. So, I mean, that's really cool to hear. And are other
Let
whales?
me ask the people, right? Anybody who's listening right now, if you are, would you be willing to pay 1 ETH for a 1 in 10 pad, or 5 ETH for a, you know, custom pad? And maybe you'd pay more, but, you know, at bare minimum, would you pay that? I'd love to hear, you know, different people's perspectives on that. I mean, it'd be good for, you know, to get that take from others as well. So it's not just my point of view, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. There's one person that said, you know, what if, I think I'll just bring it up. What if you could do, like, you know, external scripts and type scripts, and then therefore you can kind of create something really quickly. I mean, with AI generation, I mean, like, just think about the possibilities here, right? Yeah. And this guy says, you know, I plan on building for others. And Cray says, you know, ETH is peanuts for everybody. So, and yeah, so, I mean, people are agreeing with you, bro. I'd pay 1 to 2 ETH. I'd swap 5 ETH from Omi. I would. So, like you said, this is like mass consensus that, you know, so I mean, this is just, I haven't heard somebody say that.
Just making a point, right? Like, even if it's somebody else, you're willing to pay to have a beautiful pad. I mean, yes, you know, and honestly, you'd be getting a discount, because if you think about, you know, buying real houses, they're very expensive and stuff like that. And if you're going to, you know, have a pad in the metaverse where you're going to invite people, family, friends, this, that, and the other, host, and that's not even considering people that want to have businesses in VeVeVerse, right? People who want to run auctions, or people who want to, you know, music or whatever else you want to do, right? I mean, eventually this whole thing has to become commercial. But that's very, very exciting. You know, Chad, that's very, very exciting.
Dude, it really is. And what I love what you said there is, like, let's say you pay, let's say hypothetically 5 ETH for this one-of-one really custom, beautiful place. Dude, now that becomes a place, like a money generation place back for you. You can charge people coming into the club. You can premiere things. You could have special guests come in. You can do, potentially games are going to be in there eventually. So like you said, you're getting an ROI back, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, there are people, like, think about it. Yesterday's drop, I think there's about 33 or 35 people that bought a Lambo Secret Rare from the market at about somewhere over 1K, right? Between 1 and 2K. You think they won't spend that much money for a pad to display a garage, to display all their cars?
Yeah, bro.
You know, and the car collection is worth like over 30-40 grand. You think they won't pay 5 to kind of, you know, like,
that is such a good point.
Yeah, you know, like, Yeah.
Wow. But this is really like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't really think about it on this scale yet, because I'm like, man, there's these
Yeah.
guys that have like, you know, thousands of collectibles.
Yeah.
And like, why wouldn't they want to spend a little, like, you know, 0.5% of what
Yeah.
they spent on making them shine and really
Yeah.
stand out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just also want to take a second just to thank everybody for kind of, you know, showing up. This guy Atomic Z06.
Oh, that's Tony, man.
Oh, that's
VEVE
Tony.
Comics.
Okay. Oh, there we. That makes more
Man,
sense.
Tony's
bro.
the biggest car collector, man. He's got a couple of Corvettes IRL.
Oh
And he
shit.
has I think other than the 107 car, I think he's got all of them.
Wow.
And he's got some special mints, and you see his vault, man. If you look at just the regular vault in VEVE, the one where he keeps all his cars and the posters and stuff, stunning collection, man. Stunning collection.
Wow.
And what if you have a racetrack outside his garage in VEVEverse?
Yeah. Oh damn, man.
Right. Every Sunday, there's like a drive-by parade like thing, and then there's a race. That would be pretty special, man.
That would be pretty. Imagine wagering Omi or something. Like, yeah, or the keys. Yeah. You know what's cool too?
Now that's a gambling that I would like to do.
Yeah, a little bit of gamblify, man. That's yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny that you say that, because Tails, when he came on here and did an interview too, he said, "Bro, the cars in the VEVEverse look crazy because of the shine and because also it's a big space, so you can move them around and stuff."
Even the space shuttles, all of the spacecrafts, any of the Star Wars, all Star Trek, all those things are all pretty incredible. That's a whole different. So in my pad, the way I've got it is I've got the golden moments in my VEVE gold and silver logo in the middle inside. Then when you go to the left side, I've got basically all the spacecrafts and stuff like that. And then on the right side, I've got all the cars and the bikes and this, that, and the other.
Wow.
But yeah, and I think I still have to do some work on it. But yeah, and then you've got all the animated characters around the pad, so when you're walking in, you can interact with all these characters and stuff like that.
Wow. It's so cool, man. And I think the piece to me too is this social component that's gonna come from this.
Very good.
Yeah, like, Fro was on actually recently as well, and he's another beta tester, and we were just saying like, how cool would it be to like be like in the VEVEverse and be like, all right, man, let's go on a walk together and start checking some things out, and then all of a sudden like stopping over to your house or being like, hey man, like, why don't you show off something that you really like? Like, it's so many cool possibilities, Yeah,
and there's amazing people here, by the way. Cool Mo's another amazing person,
Yeah, man.
He's just incredible. He's a builder. He's on the cutting edge of technology.
Wow.
He has an Apple Vision Pro, so I'm in a small group with him, with Tony, with Rolex, Prophet, a bunch of people. Danny's in it too. Danny also has one, and so just that's the other dimension to it, right? So you got VEVEverse. It's built on Cavernous. At some point, Cavernous for us will be in in the Apple Vision Pro, and we can do all that stuff. So. Dr. Rolex, man.
I know, right?
Dr. Rolex wants me to keep my mouth shut because he wants the prices to stay low.
He's like, dude, relax, okay? Yeah, exactly. I know.
Rolex. That's right, brother.
This person says Chris says might need a VEVEverse car wash for all those garage or padded vehicles. Use MCP to access and add that graphite shine.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
it's great to see all these guys here, man.
Yeah, bro.
Rolex, Tony, Cool Mo, those guys, man. They're pretty amazing guys. So we're an amazing community,
We really are, and it feels like it's kind of like like I said before, it's growing. I do think there needs to be more marketing though. Like, I just don't know I just don't know the angle that they should take. But like with the Apple Vision Pro and like the augmented reality features, like it's pretty obvious that that's going to be like a huge driving force for really kind of being a cool place to show this stuff, right? From a marketing angle, like, what do you really think needs to be done to like potentially add more users or like get more people in here? You know what I mean? Because it feels like it's a lot of the same people, and I'm like, wow, like, how are we going to get those new people that are going to come in and not be potentially like deterred by like having to have all these huge MCP points to get crap? Like, I want new people that are like interested and excited to be here. That's where I feel.
Three things, right?
Okay.
First one, marketing is something that you spend money on when the time is right. in a bad time, if you try to bring customers in, new customers in, you'll spend $100 per customer. In a good time, you spend the same million, you'll get them for 25. So if you have $1 million to spend, right? Nobody has infinite amount of money. You want to spend it at the time where you get the biggest bang for your million. Otherwise, don't piss your millions away, right? And so that's one thing I think that VEVE understands. They're good at digital marketing. They understand that piece. So that's one. Second aspect to it is there's no point marketing when you have a, soap opera going on every day, on X. Like there's some new drama every day, right? Oh, this doesn't work, or that doesn't work, or this happens, or that happens. So VEVE, I believe, is getting quite close to having a basic, full sort of set of things, right? There's an app, it works. There's a marketplace, it works. There's an MCP, it will work. There's not declare victory as yet.
Yeah.
There's a VEVEverse, it's rolled out and it works. There's a, that new thing that is rolled out and works. And, there's that, that OMI, right? Another thing is OMI. Like there's utility, the utility token actually has utility, right? The bronze ticket is valuable, right? We don't know what that application of the bronze ticket will be, but, and we might take like a few weeks to figure out or whatever, but let's say that works too. So once that whole thing is in place, I believe VEVE will be ready to market. And then the time has to be right too. And I think that the right time is coming, by the way. I think the right time's coming. And if you kind of map or mirror all those things together, right? The development and the marketing. Like if VEVE has $1 more right now, spend it on development. Don't spend it on marketing.
Right.
Build. And they've done it. They've hired. Like I know what VEVE is, how much VEVE has hired. I don't know those people personally, but I know they've hired high-level people, a lot of engineers, a lot of developers. They're working. There's like a dedicated team working on OMI and that stuff. There's people that's working on VEVEverse, and obviously that's the third party. And then I can't say much, but there's another project, right? There's a pretty big thing going on within VEVE as well. And they've obviously they spent a lot of time and effort building that as well. So so that building part, just I think for everybody who's saying please market, I know I'm as impatient as you are to see more users come in, but I want this thing, every dollar today man spend to build it. If you build something beautiful, then every $1 million you spend on marketing will give you the biggest bang for your buck.
Right.
And so setup, it's a setup now. We should just set up completely for a completely, like crazy marketing, like insanely wild, super marketing at some point coming up, right?
Dude, so I love the way that you said that, because until there's a full loop and everything's working and everything's perfected, then like you said, if you're marketing, you're almost it's almost like you're premature in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. So like you're waiting for this product to be finalized. So I love that. And I think the hard part is
right.
Yeah.
But sorry, let me finish up. So those are the two parts, right? The building, the marketing. The third part is the organic part, the content creator part. That part to me is something that comes from within. VEVE is very ripe for it. VEVE is very flammable. We've seen it before. With all this IP, with all this passion, with this type of community, just like a match. You light a match and suddenly the whole thing is catches on and goes very, very viral, and a lot of new users and stuff coming in. That part, VEVE still needs to do some work on it. They have the right idea around the influencer and ambassador program. I wrote a paper on it. I had a discussion with one individual at VEVE around it, and it was a good conversation. I was surprised they're actually much further along in their thinking, but they're also much more thoughtful on how they want to roll that out. And that also comes with timing and everything like that. So my sense is, you've seen progress there, but I think that would be another very, very important component to all of, these growth, if you will. So these
Right.
three pieces were kind of, my sort of take on that. I mean, there may be other points I missed, but
No, dude, and everyone's agreeing with you and thanking you for your great insight. And I think, one thing that I thought was cool too is like, Chris Sever says, imagine then too when the timing is right and all the partners that
Yeah.
VEVE is there are retweeting their stuff like Disney, Marvel, we already saw it with UPSS or
Yeah.
USPS. And like, so I think like, and then on top of that, it's amazing what the community VEVE does already, man. The VEVE Digital Collectibles was trending the other day.
Cool campaign, man. I don't know who started it. Who started it?
I don't know who started it. I just
like there's got to be an answer there, right?
Yeah.
Like was this like from one of the influencers, or was this VEVE, or?
It probably was one of the influencers. Like I remember Mr. Champ way back in the day started something like pretty significant as well. So I don't know who was the one. Maybe somebody in the comments knows who was the first one.
Yeah, who started it, man? I'd love to
know.
we
want to know.
You gotta give flowers to somebody, man, or a group of people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, full shout out to Claritza, man. I have not seen anyone post as much as she does, and every single one of her posts on the VEVE Digital Collectibles absolutely fire, man.
I know,
absolutely,
and it gets like
fire. It was freaking awesome. I love it, man.
And she gets like hundreds of likes, bro. Like everything's like, I know. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And some people are saying Johnny Dunn started it.
Johnny Dunn started it?
Yeah, and then another person says the guy named Kolster. So maybe it was kind of like, okay, so is this guy Kolster that started it, and then Johnny Dunn.
Kolster, okay.
Johnny Dunn retweeted it, it looks like, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, we gotta go back. So somebody's got to do the genesis of this whole thing. Go back to where this freaking campaign started. It's pretty amazing because I have Grok, right? So in Grok, I keep typing, how does it trending? How's it trending? Or whatever. It hit like number 14 once, and then in its vertical, it was number 1 at one point in time.
Oh, right. That's insane, eh?
Yeah.
Somebody says here too, saw a video the other day from VEVE using the phrase, where do you AR? That's pretty good marketing, right? Like, because that's really the big trend now. So, so I want to shift course a little bit, man. Yeah, sure. Like, so I don't know if you saw that little video I did on the Disney universe, and I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, it's happening. And, I think I was a little bit too, I'll be honest, a little bit too biased on one side. I think I was just like, I was kind of schizophrenic, and I was putting everything together and going like, this is making perfect sense.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious, like what you like, where you stand on it, and like, because obviously it is separate to a certain extent. We got Fortnite in there, but at the same time, we are digital goods already. So I'm just like, where do we fit? I don't know. Yeah.
I have to be super careful about what I say here. So, so VEVE is not a game company.
Right.
VEVE is not a game company. They're not in the business of making games, creating games, or whatever. Disney has a vision of doing something in gaming, game-related commerce, game-related metaverse, game-related whatever, right? IRL stuff, digital stuff, engagement, whatever, all that stuff. VEVE is not the right partner for that. Epic is the right partner for that, right? So they with Epic is, right? And so that to me falls in a different swim lane. Now, can VEVE play in that? I think so. I mean, why would it not? Like it's an open ecosystem. So, it'd be silly for, Disney and for Epic to not have a VEVE in there such that there's some video game that's going on and something else that's going on. And then, you can buy the cheapy things from their site. And then there's like this VEVE thing, which you can buy for 10,000 or 20,000 or 100,000 or one, right? Like artwork or something. I mean, why would you not make it as an option there? And if they decide to do it on themselves, by themselves without VEVE, who knows, right? I mean, that's an option too, but then they don't really have that type of audience in there. The art audience is not there. Like our type of audience, very different, right? I don't know how many Dr. Profits and Rolexes and, Michaels and these guys are in there.
And
right?
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't count myself among these guys, but anyway.
Yeah.
But, so to me, that would be something. So, but if you sort of say, well, if Disney did that with Epic for gaming, and you say, okay, now what would that franchise do in other spaces, right? I can't say anymore.
Okay. Okay. I think that's enough for people to start thinking, though. It gets the wheels turning. Yeah.
If Disney equal investment in partner for games, what can Disney equals something else for something else? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Exactly.
So
I got you.
You know, I don't know all the details also, by the way. I'm not completely in the know. I know a few things here and there, but and I signed an NDA for it, so I won't say anything more. But
Right.
if you are a fodder of VV and you think Epic Games, something, VV's dead, whatever, my advice to you is just brother, if you don't believe me or trust me, that's fine. But just
Yes.
don't do anything stupid.
Yes.
And the other thing is, if you want to you know, do a big kind of a drama and sell your collection and leave, you know, like make the big exit, you know, like we've had a couple of big exits, you know, like there's a farewell party and a big exit, right? Not the time for it, brother.
I got you. Just be careful, because those things, it sticks, you know, like those tweets, unless you're deleting them. Yeah, people are got screenshots, you know what I'm trying to say? So
not the time, man, not the time.
Yes.
Not the time for that.
Right,
Not the time for that. But look, I'm super excited about what's in store for VV, and you know, I'm very, very pleased with how they've gone about building things in this bear market. And you know, when we sit 2-3 years from now and look back and we say, you know, what are some things that VV did right and what are some things that VV did wrong, I think it would fall there. The development work they're doing will fall in the bucket of these are things they did very, very right. And the you know, slowdown in marketing was also very, very right, because it would enable them to have a lot more cash to go after, you know, at the right time in a more efficient manner.
Smart, man. I love that. And I think that's where like patience does pay off, right? I mean, this is where I find, I don't know if you're invested into other crypto spaces right now. Yeah. Because obviously it's a good time to start investing in other projects. But one thing I just want to, and I'll relate this back to VV, but you know, like you get invested into like just the narrative, right? Like AI right now is the narrative. So you can put your money in some shit coin that literally has no utility, no backing. Some kid created a website, it goes to 20 million. And then there's other projects that are so fundamentally sound that aren't really going anywhere. But over time, that's where you see the bigger ones that are actually worthwhile start to flourish, right? You have to have the patience for it, you know?
And, you know, a lot of the competition is, you know, VV's competition is, you know, as much, you know, like they're taking themselves out in many ways. There's a few that are really good and succeeding. In my humble opinion, there's a few that are doing well. I mean, albeit on a smaller scale compared to VV, but you know, a lot of them are just sort of, you know, just selling off or, you know, dying on the vine, or they're not able to, you know, sustain. It takes a lot to survive a bear market, and in my humble opinion, VV has what it takes to survive the bear market, and they have done well so far. And I think I'm seeing the end of the tunnel. You know, I can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't think it's another train this time.
Yes, I got you. I know. Yeah,
what
and
do
I
you
think right. Well, I mean, I think like, you know, this is where I keep saying to people that it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, like, I think what really hit me in the face was the last bull cycle. People were fudding me saying the Apple Vision Pro is 20-30 years away, right? People were saying, are you kidding me? These headsets they're so far away, you idiot. Literally like commenting like, you know, you'll be 50 the time that we start seeing this integration, and then now it's a few years later. And you saw that interview that video Casey Neistat put out where he's walking around, he takes him to the subway station, and he's like,
that was pretty funny, man.
But he goes to show you, he's like, that's where we're gonna be. And so I'm thinking like, okay, if we're gonna be there and every IP in the world is on VV and they own all the digital collectibles for the most part, and we're going that realm, then like put 2 and 2 together. Like it's eventually, that's going to be a huge part of our lifestyle, right? Our digital world.
You know, absolutely. And you know, if you think about all the tech, right, that's out there, the VV fam is into that tech. They're all, you know, deep into that tech. They're into, you know, the Quest, they're into the Vision. Like I was in a small group of people that was in, you know, the Quest users. like 2 years ago, we celebrated New Year's. VEVE fam celebrated New Year's. There were like about 15, 20 of us, maybe more, in a VR chat with a quest on 2 years ago.
So
2 years
crazy.
ago, man. 2 years ago. So many of us there.
Wow.
So, and then if you think about now the Vision Pro, there's a pretty big group, and that Quest group is even larger now. And then there's this Vision Pro group that's also there. So there's a lot of these people into these things, man. You know, my sense is that this thing's going to become more mainstream. It might take a few more years. Obviously, the Vision Pro is not something everybody can afford, but there's cheaper things out there. And even like the lighter stuff, right? The ability to AR into the lighter things for fun on an everyday basis, that would be a thing too. My sense is that that stuff will probably start growing. A lot more. And that will drive more engagement and action and stuff. But, you know, credit to everybody. I mean, there's a lot of, I see everybody in our space as like an early adopter. You know, if you're in our space, even if you're collecting some shit coin or you have some of those other, you know, like whatever PFPs or whatever, you're still an early adopter, man. Just pick the wrong shit, right? Which we all do.
We do. I've learned the hard way a few times, you know.
How much shit have you picked up, man?
Oh, dude, you know, it's like a lot of times it's just moving around, and then you just get lucky. You hit something, right? That's how it works. But if you're stagnant and you're not taking action, that's when you get screwed, you know. So Sanjay, you know, we got, first of all, we had over 120 people, and at one point, you know, so a lot of people are here to see you. And you know, somebody's just asking, like, you know, with the Comey, you know, if Omi was at a $2 billion market cap last all-time high, you know, do you think we get there? And obviously not financial advice, but or do you think, like, what's your thoughts on Omi? Like, now that we have kind of the deflationary aspect, we've got kind of MCP. There's a few more things there, bells and whistles added to it. Just curious what you think on that.
You know, my views on Omi are, I would say, somewhat, you know, more conservative than a lot of other people. Yeah. And to me, I'm not swayed by hot air. You know, if things randomly go up because somebody said something or somebody did something or something else went up, it may go up, but I'm not into that, you know, that cycle. To me, Omi is singularly a utility token. Every single time that VEVE creates more utility for Omi, there's more value to Omi. And to me, that's like a ladder. You know, it's every step of the ladder with that utility. So having OUP1 first, important. OUP or 0. OUP1 with bronze tickets, the bronze tickets get you something, next step. Silver, gold tickets, that get you something else. OMI to NFT, all that other stuff. You know, to me, every one of those things is a step on the ladder. Now, I'm pleased to see that VEVE has committed to OMI, which they were not talking about for a long time, right? Like, there was not much action. Anyway.
Yeah.
And those are the things that you know, motivate me and inspire me. So I don't know whether it's 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, whatever, right? But I like the direction, the trajectory of it. I want to see more. I've got OMI. Every time they announce something, I go pick up more OMI. I don't care what the price is, because to me, as long as, you know, if there's something new and material that comes in, it automatically means in my head that there is upside. And I get in every time I hear real utility for OMI. And I don't fall in the bucket of let's do more exchanges or whatever. That's up to you. You know, you do whatever you want. That's not what sways me. And every time there's utility, there's someone or many people on this app who want to buy OMI to get something out of OMI. They're not buying OMI to sell it to the next guy to exit.
Right.
They want OMI for OMI. They want to use that OMI to do something. To me, that is, and if VEVE relentlessly focuses on that, relentlessly, and they talk about it, and they build, they talk, they build, they talk, they build, and that's all they do. Forget everything else. To me, that will take OMI into a certain level. And then obviously, it's some degree of, you know, OMI, VEVE has to become very big as well too, right?
Right,
and
right.
and that to drive even more demand, more users, more people who buy Omi and stuff. I hope that's how it goes, and I'm motivated like that, because this hot air shit, like I buy a coin and it goes up, and somebody puts it here, puts it here, and suddenly there's a lot of trading and there's volume. Like, I got a shit ton of things to volume and trade, man.
Yes.
No, really, I do. I can do a lot of others. Like, there's like 500 other things that I can do that have volume and are tradable, and you can do stochastics on it, and I can do options, and I can do all this other shit, right? There's so many things to do that. But the growth, investment, the word investment, speculation and investment, two different things. I want to see more. Like, I literally want to see that bronze ticket work. I want to see it given out, and I want to see it work. Meaning, it's so freaking powerful that every single person on this app wants to hold Omi to get the bronze ticket, and they can't wait for the silver ticket to come out, and they can't wait for the gold ticket to come out. To me, those would be points where I would say, oh shit, now I gotta sell some collectibles to get Omi.
Yes, but you okay, I just want to stop for a second, because you explained that so eloquently. Not a lot of people talked about Omi in that way. Like you said, majority of people in crypto are just trying to make money, right? But people that, like, the way that this is really going to grow in value is if it actually has a lot of functionality, because then you're going to want to have it, because it's going to advance your day-to-day work and everything, right? So I get what you're saying, and like that's where we're going to see the masses come in if VEVE, like you said, also becomes huge, because you need Omi to do this, you need Omi to do that. Okay, well shit, I got to buy some Omi then, right? And then that's how you're going to get all those holders, not just because, hey, there's some hot air, I think I could capitalize on a 30% pump. There's
a lot of users in VEVE who are not crypto people who don't care about Omi. And if the bronze ticket works, every one of those guys is going to open YouTube and figure out, how the hell can I buy Omi?
Right.
And only some of them are going to make it to the journey to get there, if it's as hard as it is today. And if you can buy Omi just like that, or people can, like literally you pay somebody like 10,000 and they dump Omi into your account or something. VEVE has like this quick kind of thing. To me, that's friction. One click Omi in the app for anybody. Like your grandma can do it. She has this button where she clicks it and say, give me 10 million Omi, and charge my credit card, or give me 10 million Omi and do this. Yeah. That friction has to come out of the process for it to also. So, having utility is one thing, but the whole, how the Omi flows has to be friction free. One click, orange button or red circle. The whole button could be a red circle. Click for Omi now. Like now.
Yeah,
bang.
Exactly.
Omi, million Omi, bang, gone.
Right. I love that.
Start earning points now.
Yes. It reminds me of that Staples
bronze
button.
Ticket tomorrow. Or you know what? I'll give you a bronze ticket today. That it's like it's almost like given to you ahead of time, like bonus points or whatever it is, to get the 10 million. Right.
Yes, man. Yes. 100%.
That's what makes Omi grow. I'm sure other things do too, but that's not my thing. And you can talk to other people for it. There's 100 people you can talk to about that.
Right. Well, I mean, like, a perfect example of that is like Ethereum as an example is hundreds of billions of dollars, because it's so useful, right? Not because it's built off, it's an actual product at that point, right? A huge product. Yeah. And
you won't fall off that ladder.
Exactly.
You go on a hot air balloon, the moment the air cools, you're down.
Wow. Yes.
If you're on a ladder, every step is built. You're not falling down that easily. You're climbing that ladder steadily. And I want Omi to be like that. And I want more and more people to come into Omi, more and more people to see value in Omi and to get the benefit of Omi. And then I want to see this at $1 or whatever the hell else it is.
I love that. I just want to read a few comments. People have already made some funny little plays. They're saying, hashtag one click Omi. Yeah. Somebody else says Omility as a joke too. Like, look at this. Yeah. Just because it's true.
One click Omi, man. Like, utility. First you make it work, and then one click Omi. Those two things.
Yeah. Man, people are loving you, Sanjay, man. And like why were you so bullish from the beginning? I mean, you almost had an understanding nobody else did. And I remember, the whole reason your name came to be with Mr. MC1 is because you were buying MC1 Comics. I think it was like at $2, and you're going, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
What did you see that other people didn't, man?
I don't know, man. I think people are bored of that story, but
yeah.
But the short version of it is, look, it's the first comic from Marvel, man.
Yeah.
It literally is the first comic from Marvel. It's in digital and physical. So it's one of those things where everybody wants the first, like think about it. The first iPhone was not the greatest iPhone, but everybody wants it. And that's the one that sells for the most. Why?
Yes.
What's so special about it? That damn thing don't even do half the things that a quarter of the things or a tenth of the things that the new one does. But why is it valuable? Because it's got the tag of F first. And that first to me with Marvel Comics 1 was very important. And I said, look, and I like to go early on these. It's like I don't mess around. If I want something, I'll go early and I'll pick up a ton and I'll just sit and wait. And I was very heavily convinced. And like collectibles are things that you display, and there's many of the same and whatever, right? Not throwing shade on anything, but to me, comics are readable. It's a readable comic, and it retains its value even after you read it. And that for me was a very interesting thing. So I said, look, I will never go wrong with a Marvel Comics 1 investment and going that early. And I think to me, Todd is the same. The Todd Batman is the first collectible on VEVE. It's Todd McFarlane. He's such a talented, person. He's just so creative. That piece is stunning. And to me, that's the first on VEVE. It's the first, digital collectible on VEVE that makes a lot. It's part of the first set. So that whole stream, and the fact that people were just throwing it away for like $300-400 or $500 or whatever sometime back, the bear market does weird things. But that to me it's not just about my MC1 collection. And that's where Silicon comes in, right? Silicon was so heavily convicted on that, and it paid off. It paid off for him, man. And so, and think about that. And then, I think the one that's kind of underrated is basically the first stamp. It's the first stamp.
I remember you telling me that.
Stamp collecting has been around for the longest time. I get that the old farts who used to collect stamps are dying and all that good shit, but the digital stamp, even if it doesn't have utility, as in you can mail something with it, the first stamp from USPS as an NFT,
ridiculous.
Come on, it's $7, $5, $3. Like what?
Yeah.
Like of all the hundreds of dollars you throw on shit in life, that one you'd sort of buy and keep, and not financial advice, by the way. You buy and keep, and you see, what the hell? Like in 100 years, maybe, or 50 years, or 20 years, is what something. You know what I mean?
Dude, I like again. I guess echoing off that same thing. Somebody said. Do you think like the value then of season 1 collectibles, will start to kind of get more traction? Because, like we look at those things like Harley Quinn 19, Rizzo, Golden Moogly, like these are OG items, right?
The Golden Moogly, the silver one, those things are hard. And those mints and stuff. And they're all, like, if you think about it, all these guys who are crypto guys who got pissed with VEVE and left, they're going to make their millions with OMI and this, that, and the other. What do you think they want to buy after they get all their millions, man?
Right, bro.
What are they going to buy? You think they don't want the first season, man?
And they're going to look way more badass too in the VEVE verse, right? Because it's going to be like, oh, you're an OG. I could tell you got the gold Mooglies. You got these things that are, it's not going to be, it's going to be different. I get you. And, I just want to also say, like, this person says it perfectly, like, to VEVE's credit, man, they're building a completely novel program for a drop system and an asset system connected to the MCP program. Not even Web 2 companies like Nike, Adidas, etc. have produced an MCP. So like it is novel in that regard too. And I think like that's where some of that patience like you talked about comes in, because this is the first time it's ever being done, right? It's not like, I mean, maybe there's some gaming systems and stuff you can look at like as guidance, but like with digital collectibles, this is unique, right? So it's like, it's going to take a little bit of trial and error before we get somewhere that's actually substantial,
Yeah, I agree with you. And I've kind of said this before. Web 2 was all about loyalty programs. Web 3 is about community. And loyalty tied to community is a force multiplier, in my humble opinion. And I think we learned that from the Bored Apes, right? We learned that from the Bored Apes. The community was such a huge thing. And to me, VEVE has the right ingredients there. And I would like to see more of that. By the way, all of you guys who have MC1s and stuff, man, may you be showered with a lot of fortune. Self-servingly, may you be showered with lots and lots of fortune.
Yeah, exactly. And man, what are you into now? Like, what are you kind of like? I know, like, you obviously have a huge collection, you're a master collector and everything like that, but is there a kind of something you're leaning into a little more heavy than usual? Like, are there's more like comics or more like on the collectibles, or what do you kind of think? Like animation? What's intriguing you?
Three things:
Okay.
comics, animation, and VV Gold logo. So I should replace that with community. The last one is community. The comics, just because I came to the app from comics. I'm deep into different types. I've collected SR comics. I have a lot of commons. I have some, a lot of the fairly decent or really good ones. The rare and the ultra rare, VV exclusive kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
So comics has always been my love on the app. I mean, not that I don't collect I still have, I think, 350 some sets and stuff like that. So I'm not deficient in collecting collectibles and stuff, but comics are my main thing, and I love it, and I'm going to keep doing a lot more of that. Like, what you realize after time is, there's a finite amount of money that you have, and you got to make choices. And so I spend a lot more of my money in comics, and the animated collectibles are important. So wherever I can afford one, or like I want something or whatever, I'll do it. I try to finish up the sets if I can. Like if a set is less than 150 bucks, I'll just finish it. It doesn't even matter what it is, because I'm a collector of stuff on VV. But if it gets more expensive than that, then I'm selective about it. And I'll always, said differently, there's always a secret rare comic that's that opportunity cost, of going after something else. So that's, comics is one of them. And then I would say animated collectibles are very important. Those are, because those are the ones that interact with you.
Yes.
And I should take that back. There's animation and interactive. Those are two different things on VV. You see collectibles are two different names. Animation is fun, but the way animation works is it does the same thing over and over again. Maybe 2 tricks and 3 tricks. Interactive, you can drive or do what you want to and keep engaging with it, right? Now the cars are all interactive. So, and they've created a new style of collectible where you can, things are bendable and whatever, right? There's one of the collectibles was like that. I think it was RoboCop, or one of those ones were like that. So I'm very curious. I will lean heavily towards interactive stuff, animated as well, but more so interactive. Anything that says the word interactive, I would look at it with okay, how much does it cost? Why would I not want it?
Wow.
And then the community part for me is, the VV Gold logo is obviously one where it's one where David, he wanted to kind of bring together some of the community that shows up IRL, right?
Right.
And I like those IRL events. I really enjoy them. I love connecting with the people who come to them. And so I've spent an inordinate amount of time in the last year and a half in planning the events for these VV Gold logo parties, bringing the community together. It's a fan party. So there's a VV party and there's a fan party. The fan party I usually instigate. And the location that I pick, the people that I invited, the special guests, all of that stuff takes it in, a lot of orchestration. I'm working on that. Even the hat that I'm wearing now, I'm not a merch guy, but I wanted this hat to be done. So I asked VV to build it. And then, there was something where they said, look, they didn't want to do the last mile or whatever. So I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I did it for pickup in New York. And then a lot of people wrote to me and said, hey, dude, we really want it. Can you ship it for me? Can you ship it for me? I said, okay, look, this would be an incredible amount of time for something that I never thought I would do in my life, which is shipping. But I said, okay, look, I'll do it on a one-time basis only for this hat. I'll go get it done. But anyway, so I'm doing that as well. And I'm planning the next event in New York.
October, right?
October 17th through 20th.
Nice.
My vision for it is an artsy party this time. Like I want to pick out either a gallery, either a really nice swanky gallery, or like a grungy, basement dungeon kind of thing that can hold 200 people with lighting and a DJ and stuff. And then the artwork is brought in and the artists are there. And then there's some live art as well. So not a secret. I really want Peach Momoko there, man. I worked very hard to get her last time. I'm going to work with David on this time. When I go to Austin, I'm going to talk to David about it. And if we can get it done, that's great. If you can't, hey, there'll be other artists too, right? You're getting a lot of other artists too. But my intent is to have a couple of pieces commissioned that are auctioned, for charity or whatever. I haven't figured that out. Yeah. And a couple of pieces that are done live, and just make it fun, man. Like at the end of the day, there's an art element to what we do, and I would love to see that theme come through,
Yes, sir, man. You got me hyped up over here, and it's like 6 months out. But it seems so like elaborate, and that's what I love too. Is like the community thing is like what's going to drive this over the moon, Yeah. And I just also want to touch back to the distinction you made between animation and interactivity. And I think that was such a cool distinction because, again, I don't know what the potential for gamification is going to be for a lot of these things. Because now, like I said, we saw Disney Universe and Fortnite. So I don't know where that whole relationship ends or what that even means. But that's the other thing to really start thinking about is, what is the interactive component? Because like you said, you could do an animation, press a button, after 10 times you get bored, right? But if you're using something day in and day out, that's a whole other beast.
Yeah, if I'm in a spaceship, right, and I'm going from my pad to one part of my pad to the other part, and I show up in a spaceship, right? Like that's really different than something that's just animated. But I mean, look, there's no right or wrong answer. I've just my point of view on it. I'm maybe wrong about it too. You never know,
No, man. I mean, you're giving us so much alpha here. I feel like this is the alpha Mr. MC1 interview. I mean,
no, a lot of people are more alpha than me, man.
Well, you're pretty good, man. I don't think you give yourself enough credit, But listen, I know you've already spent over an hour with me, so I'm going to give the floor to you if there's anything else that you want to chat about, or maybe give people a few more minutes to throw in some questions for you. But yeah, anything that you want to say to. Let's do some Q&A. Okay, so let's
do some Q&A if people have anything. Know that I don't.
All right, here's one for you right here. If Sanjay had to choose, which one would it be, Spider-Man SR collectible or AF-15 SR comic?
Tough one. This one I would have to go with. So tough. I would say the Spider-Man SR collectible.
And is it because of the significance, the historical, that it was the first Marvel and all that stuff?
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot to do with the significance of and the timing of when that collectible came. But I don't think AF-15 SR is that much far behind. AF-15, AF-15 SR it's just an incredible comic, but there's a lot of other comics, great comics as well. Captain America 1 comes, there's a lot of other great comics. But with that Spider-Man collectible, just in VEVE, with the animation, the way it sits and stuff, and then, I don't know. I'd pick that one for sure. Between the two, I would pick that one. It's cheaper too, right? It's 1/3, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Or maybe half now.
So somebody else says, how do you see them growing users? It's been hard so far. What do you see changing that could really, get more people in? Yeah.
Well, there's two parts to this. So one is, if every wallet and user in VEVE has an incentive to buy 10 more things, right? And it moves every user up the spectrum of loyalty, right? And what it does is, on the bottom end of the spectrum, it pulls in more people because everybody's moving up the food chain. People are seeing that, if you have more value at every level of the food chain, and said differently, it's not just about value, it's about, if you can't have something that the guy above, one level above you has, it inspires you to go one level up. So you have to have some degree of, like even a Dr. Rolex, Dr. Rolex, you have a great collection, but brother, you're less than 20,000 collectibles. When you hit 20,000, here's what you get. You know what my brother Rolex is doing?
He's getting 20,000.
He's getting 20,000. And there's Rolex, there's like this one-of-one artwork, but only people over 20,000 collectibles are eligible.
Wow.
My brother's working towards that. There's no chance. Then if you tell people somebody who's between level 75 and 99 that when you get to level 100, this is what happens. This is the land of the richest, right?
Right.
Either you get guaranteed drops. Once you get level 100, you're guaranteed every drop. Not an SR, but you're guaranteed a drop. Or you're also, eligible for this and that or whatever. Everybody that's between 75 and 99 is going to buy a minimum of 1,000 to 3,000 comics to get to that level 100 in a hurry. And what does that do to the market? It literally, the market gets chewed out. And even if you're a simple collector with 10 collectibles, your 10 collectibles become worth a lot more. And to me, driving the ecosystem from that standpoint, it's that type of behavior incents more people to come in and more people to want to go up the ladder. And there has to be something extra at every level.
Right.
That to me is sort of the trick to it. And then beyond that is just marketing, which you already talked about, So,
yeah, no, that's a great answer. Yeah. But do you think the complexity of that could be challenging because there's so many, the thing of VEVE, right? It's such a big project that it's almost like boiling the ocean. There's so many things they can do, but they have to be focused on what's they're capable of, right? But I guess that's where it could go, right?
Yeah. I mean, whether it's one-of-one drops, whether it's 5% of the SRs are held for level 100s, and another 5% are held for master collectors, another 5% are held for diamonds, and your probability in each of these 5% is different or whatever. I mean, look, I'm at level 98. I can afford to go to 100 tomorrow.
Right.
I can load 10,000 gems and I can buy comics and I can buy whatever, all this stuff. There's no fire, man. My brother Rolly's been at level 100. He's got 10 million points or 7 million points. What's he got different what's he got so special that I don't have?
Right. And that's what we're waiting for right now. This is where it comes back.
Profit. Sorry, Rolex.
Yes.
I probably should, I know he's going to freaking call me after some game. Is my name the only name?
He's happy about that.
He's a very big influence in my life, man. I look up to Rolex. He's a very good friend, very dear friend. Love Dr. Rolex. But and similarly, if the guy who's at level 50 has something to aspire to that level 75s get, it's not a whale game, man.
Right.
Because there's something that you can't have at your level that the next level up gets. That is going to chew out the market. And when the market gets chewed out, the prices go up. When the prices go up, new people come in because the prices have gone up and they see the thing pumping. Yes. Right? That to me, that's how you would build that, organic demand. You don't even have to do shit for it, man. You got to plan. You got to deny somebody something that the next level gets. Every level,
man.
Something material.
Smart man, bro. And the last question I got from you is from Altman, and it says, what did you collect kind of before VEVE?
Oh, a lot of stuff, man. I've had stamps for the longest time. I've had watches for the longest time. I've had ties from the 30s, 40s, 50s and stuff for the longest time. I have a bunch of stuff. I mean, I wasn't that big. I've had comics, actually. I have, I just didn't keep them in good condition, but I have comics, that I bought in India from 35, 40 years ago. They're still there. I went to India this time, saw that. Just a few other things. I've collected a lot of art as well. That was more recent. Wines, a lot of wines as well.
Wow, look at you. So you're pretty well versed in this. Like you said, this is not new to you by any stretch of the imagination, you know?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not been collecting, these type of statues. I mean, some other statues, like the more art types, the other, like Yadro and stuff like that.
Wow.
I've had those. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself like a big, massive collector. I've collected things in the past before VV, but now obviously I'm very passionate, man. Now I have like comics, lots of comics, new comics, old comics, graded comics, and statues and paintings and original artwork and signed stuff and graded stuff, and all that stuff is new to me. I was never a big sneaker guy or anything, but I'm starting to,
starting to get there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, bro. I can't thank you enough for coming on and kind of sharing your experiences, your knowledge, your wisdom. It's been a blast. And like I said, every time I get you on, I just love to listen and sit back and and it's you're such a good guy and you're such a bright light for the community. So I just really want to thank you, man, for for sticking to it and for being somebody that inspires us all.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be on a channel, and thanks for everybody who's watching this channel. He's a great guy, to watch. NFT Pirates, a very, very cool guy, just an OG of the community, and just a lot of fun here as well. It's great chatting with everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Take care, guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.